Hello everybody, we are back with another spooky season recipe today. I am kind of adding in another cookbook into spooky season. I found the Ghostbusters official cookbook last week at my local Ollie's store, and decided to add a couple recipes from that cookbook into spooky season, as well as the Hocus Pocus and the horror movie cookbooks. Not a super big Ghostbusters fan, but like I said in previous videos, I do like collecting the pop culture cookbooks like this, so I did get it. I did watch the movie before filming this video, just for like a refresher and everything, since I was going to be making a recipe from the Ghostbusters cookbook. I still not a huge fan of the movie. I honestly got a little bored with it, but that's just me. I know a lot of people like it, and I have not seen any of the remakes. I've only seen the original one from the 80s. I might give the remakes a try at some point. I don't know, but for now, let's get cooking. So the recipe we are making today is the Terror Dogs recipe. It's a hot dog recipe. I'm going to get started with it now. There's a homemade coleslaw that goes on the hot dogs, so we're going to get that going now early in the morning, and we're going to let it sit, and then around lunchtime I am going to come back and make the rest of the hot dogs. So for now, let's get started on the slaw for our terror dog. Right, so for our slaw, we've got some sugar, we've got celery seed, salt and pepper, apple cider vinegar. We got some Duke's mayonnaise. You can use whatever brand you like. We happen to use Duke's. That's what we like. And that's pretty much all we buy for mayonnaise. If you haven't tried it, definitely give it a try, because it is a really, really good mayonnaise. And then we've got a bag of coleslaw mix here. The recipe did say to use fresh cabbage and fresh carrots that you shred. I just bought a bag of the pre-shredded stuff just because it is easier than buying a head of cabbage and shredding it. You definitely could do that if you wanted to, but the bagged coleslaw mix works just fine. So let's get started.
Alright, so I did make the dressing for the coleslaw. This was all of our ingredients except for the cabbage. So this is the mayonnaise, the apple cider vinegar, sugar, celery seed, salt, pepper, all mixed up and combined. I am going to get my cabbage in a bowl and pour the dressing over it and mix that up, and I will be back. Alright, so I did finish the coleslaw. I've got the dressing and the cabbage all mixed up together. It does look really good. I do want to say really quick that I did use less cabbage than what the recipe called for, but still made the full amount of dressing, and it seemed to be just about right. It looks really good. I'm going to pop this into the refrigerator and let it sit for a couple hours before making the hot dogs. In a couple hours, when we are ready for lunch, I will make the hot dogs and I will be back. Alright, so I am back to finish up our terror dogs. It is lunchtime here, so I'm going to get started with making those. So for the rest of the dogs, we have some crema. We've got the coleslaw that I made this morning that has been sitting in the fridge for a couple hours. We've got some sliced jalapenos. We've got potato chips, which we are going to crush up and put on top of the dogs. We've got hot dog buns, some barbecue sauce. I am using Sweet Baby Ray's hickory and brown sugar because that's what I have opened, as you can see from my half-used bottle. And then we've got some hot dogs. So I am going to get started with this. First thing I'm going to do is cook my hot dogs and toast up some of my hot dog buns, and I will be back. Alright, so I've got my hot dogs cooking in the pan here. We're just going to let those go. The recipe did say just to warm them in a skillet. I'm just going to boil them on the stove like you normally do with hot dogs. It's going to be fine. Over here, I've got some hot dog buns toasting. And when those are done, I will be back. Okay, so while everything was cooking, I did crunch up some of my potato chips. I did not crush up the entire bag that I bought, just like a little handful of them. If I need more for our terror dogs, I will crush up some more later, but I think this should get us pretty close. I'm only making a couple dogs today, so this should be good. But like I said, if I need more, I can always crush up some more. If you do make these, that is something I would recommend doing, just crushing up just a little at a time and doing more as you need them, because then this way you don't have a bunch of leftover crunched up potato chips that you're not going to use for anything else. So soon as the hot dogs and buns are done, I will be back. Alright, so my first set of hot dog buns are done. I did put some butter on them to get them a nice golden color. I hope I didn't toast them too long, but it should be alright. They look really good. As soon as the hot dogs are done, I will start assembling the terror dogs. Alright, so my hot dogs are done. I am going to finish assembling these off camera really quick, just because I don't have enough hands right now to do this on camera. But we're basically going to top them with the coleslaw, the chips, the crema, and the barbecue sauce. I am going to leave the jalapenos off of these two, because these two are not for me, they're for somebody else. But I will show you what they look like after I am done. Alright, so I have these assembled. Like I said, I am leaving the jalapenos off of these two because they are for somebody else who doesn't do jalapenos. The other ones that I make, I will put the jalapenos on them like you're supposed to, but I gotta say, even without the jalapenos, these look fabulous, and I cannot wait to give them a try. After I am done eating, I will be back with my final thoughts. Alright, so I am back with my final thoughts on the terror dogs. I thought they were fabulous. I am definitely going to be making these again. They were great. They were super easy to make. They turned out really good. I really enjoyed them. If you have the Ghostbusters cookbook, I definitely recommend giving these a try. The recipe said it was a difficult or medium difficulty recipe, but I honestly thought they were super easy to make. I did use the already cut coleslaw mix, so that did save some time and a couple steps from having to like shred or chop my cabbage and carrots ahead of time. But even if you did use like a fresh head of cabbage for it, it still wouldn't be that bad. to make. I do recommend making extra dressing for the coleslaw though. Like I used about half of the cabbage that it called for and then made the full dressing recipe, and it was just right. It turned out really good. And like I said, it's just something that I will probably be making more often now that we've tried them, because we all really enjoyed them here in my house. So until next time, good times, good foods, and stay spooky. Bye.